It came to pass, when Jesus had risen from the dead, that he passed 11 years discoursing with his disciples and instructing them only up to the regions of the first commandment, and up to the regions of the first mystery, that within the veil, within the first commandment, which is the 24th mystery without and below, those 24 which are in the second space of the first mystery, which is before all mysteries, the Father in the form of a dove. And Jesus said to his disciples, I come forth out of the first mystery, which is the last mystery, and is the 24th mystery. And his disciples have not known nor understood that anything exists within that mystery, but they thought of that mystery that it is the head of the universe and the head of all existence, and they thought it is the completion of all completions, because Jesus had said to them concerning that mystery that it surrounded the first commandment, and the 5 impressions, and the great light, and the 5 helpers, and the whole treasury of light. And moreover, Jesus had not told his disciples the total expansion of all the regions of the great invisible, and of the 3 triple powers, and of the 24 invisibles, and of their regions and their eons and their orders, and how they extended, those which are the emanations of the great invisible, and their ungenerated and their self-generated, and their generated and their light givers, and their unpaired, and their rulers and their authorities, and their lords and their archangels, and their angels, and their deacons and their servitudes, and all their houses of their spheres, and all the orders of every one of them. And Jesus had not told his disciples the total expansion of the emanations of the treasury, nor their orders, how they are extended, nor had he told them their saviors according to the order of every one, how they are, nor had he told them what guard is at every gate of the treasury of the light, nor had he told them the region of the twin saviors, who is the child of the childs, nor had he told them the regions of the 3 amens, in what regions they are extended, nor had he told them into what region the 5 trees are expanded, nor as the 7 amens, that is the 7 voices, what is their region, how they expanded. And Jesus had not told his disciples of what type are the 5 helpers, nor into what region they are brought, nor had he told them how the great light hath expanded itself, nor into what region it hath been brought, nor had he told them of the 5 impressions, nor as the first commandment into what region they have been brought, but he had discoursed with them generally, teaching that they exist, but he had not told them their expansion and the order of their regions, how they are. For this cause they have not known that they were also other regions within that mystery. And he had not told his disciples, I have gone forth out of such and such regions until I entered into that mystery, and until I went forth out of it. But in teaching them, he said, I am come forth out of that mystery for this cause. They then thought of that mystery that it is the completion of completions, and that it is the head of the universe, and that it is the total fullness. For Jesus had said to his disciples, that mystery surroundeth that universe of which I had spoken unto you from the day when I met you, even unto this day. For this cause then the disciples thought there is nothing within that mystery. It came to pass then, when the disciples were sitting together on Mount Olives, speaking of these words, and rejoicing in great joy, and exulting exceedingly, and saying one to another, Blessed are we before all men who are on the earth, because the Savior hath revealed this unto us, and we have received the fullness of the total completion. They said this to one another while Jesus sat a little removed from them. And it came to pass then, on the 15th day of the moon, in the month of Tybe, which is the day on which the moon is full, on that day then, when the sun had come forth in his going, that there came forth behind him a great light power, shining most exceedingly, and there was no measure to the light conjoined with it, for it came out of the light of lights, and it came out of the last mystery, which is the 24th mystery, from within without, those which are in the orders of the second space of the first mystery, and that light power came down over Jesus and surrounded him entirely, while he was seated removed from his disciples, and he had shone most exceedingly, and there was no measure of light which was on him. And the disciples had not seen Jesus because of the great light in which he was, or which was about him, or their eyes were darkened because of the great light in which he was, but they saw only the light which shot forth many light rays, and the light rays were not like one another, but the light was of diverse kinds, and it was of diverse type, from below upwards, one ray more excellent than the other, in one great immeasurable glory of light. It stretched forth under the earth, right up to heaven. And when the disciples saw the light, they fell into great fear and great agitation. It came to pass then, when the light power had come down over Jesus, that it gradually surrounded him. Then Jesus surrounded or soared into the height, shining most exceedingly in an immeasurable light, and the disciples gazed after him and shone him, and none of them spake until he had reached unto heaven, but they all kept in deep silence. This then came to pass on the 15th day of the moon, on the day of which it is full in the month of Tybe. It came to pass then, when Jesus had reached the heaven after 3 hours, that all the powers of the heaven fell into agitation, and all were set in motion one against the other. They and all their eons, and all their regions, and all their orders, and the whole earth was agitated, and all they who dwell therein, and all men who are in the world fell into agitation, and also the disciples, and all thought, peradventure the world will be rolled up. And all the powers in the heavens ceased not from their agitation, they and the whole world, and all were moved one against the other, from the 3rd hour of the 15th day of the moon of Tybe until the 9th hour of the morrow. And all the angels and their archangels and all the powers of the height all sang praises to the interiors of the interiors, so that the whole world heard their voices without their ceasing till the 9th hour of the morrow. But the disciples sat together in fear, and were in exceedingly great agitation, and were afraid because of the great earthquake which took place. And they wept together, saying, What will then be? Peradventure the Savior will destroy all regions. Thus saying, they wept together. While they then said this, and wept together, then the 9th hour of the morrow, the heavens opened, and they saw Jesus descend, shining most exceedingly, and there was no measure for his light in which he was, for he shone more radiantly than at that hour when he had ascended to the heavens, so that men in the world cannot describe the light which was on him. And it shot forth light rays in great agitation, and there was no measure of its rays, and its lights was not alike together, but it was of diverse kind and diverse types, some rays becoming more excellent than the other, and the whole light consisted together. It was threefold kind, and the other kind was more excellent than the other. The second, that is the midst, was more excellent than the first, which was below, and the third, which was above them all, was more excellent than the two which were. And the first glory, which was placed below them all, was like to the light which had come over Jesus before he had ascended into the heavens, and was like only itself in its light. And the 3 light modes were of diverse light kinds, and they were of diverse type, one being more excellent than the other. It came to pass then, when the disciples saw this, that they feared exceedingly, and were in agitation. Then Jesus, then compassionate and tender-hearted, when he saw his disciples that they were in great agitation, spake with them, saying, Take courage, it is I, be not afraid. It came to pass then, when the disciples had heard this word, that they said, Lord, if it be thou, withdraw thy light glory into thyself. that we may be able to stand. Otherwise our eyes are darkened, and we are agitated, and the whole world also is in agitation, because of the great light power which is about thee. Then Jesus drew to himself the glory of his light. And when this was done, all the disciples took courage, stepped forward to Jesus, fell down altogether, adored him, rejoicing in great joy. And he said unto them, Rabbi, whither hast thou gone? Or what was thy ministry on which thou hast gone? Or wherefore rather were all these confusions and all the earthquakings which have taken place? Then Jesus compassionate said unto them, Rejoice and exult from this hour on, for I have gone to the regions out of which I had come forth. From this day on, then will I discourse with you in openness from the beginning of the truth unto its completion, and I will discourse with you face to face without similitude. From this hour on will I not hide anything from you on the mystery of the height and of that of the region of truth, for authority hath been given me through the ineffable and through the first mystery of all mysteries to speak with you from the beginning right up to the fullness, both from within without and from without within. Hearken therefore that I may tell you of all things. It came to pass then, when I sat a little removed from you on Mount of Olives, that I thought on the order of the ministry for the sake of which I was sent, that it was completed, and that the last mystery, that is the 24th mystery, from within without, those which are in the second space of the first mystery in the orders of that space, had not yet sent me my vesture. It came to pass then, when I had known that the order of the mystery for the sake of which I had gone was completed, and that mystery had not yet sent me my vesture, which I had left behind in it, until its time was completed. Thinking then this, I sat on the Mount of Olives, a little removed from you. It came to pass, when the sun rose in the east thereafter, then through the first mystery, which existed from the beginning, on account of which the universe has risen, out of which also I am myself now come, not in the time before crucifixion, but now it came to pass through the commandment of that mystery, that there should be sent me a light vesture, which it had given me from the beginning, and which I had left behind in the last mystery, that is the 24th mystery, and within without, those which are in the orders of the second space of the first mystery. That mystery then I left behind in the last mystery, which until the time should be completed to put it on, and I should begin to discourse with you the race of men, and reveal unto you all from the beginning of the truth to its completion, and discourse with them from the interiors of the interiors to the exteriors of the exteriors, and from the exteriors of the exteriors to the interiors of the interiors. Rejoice then and exult, and more greatly, for to you it is given that I speak with you from the beginning of the truth to its completion.